So Tucker Carlson's interview with Vladimir Putin, I think, was compelling and it was informative. And I wanted to share with you some of the most important parts of that interview, starting with this one, where Tucker Carlson is going to ask Putin directly, who is responsible for the destruction of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline? I'm going to let the clip speak for itself. Here it is.
Who blew up Nord Stream?
You for sure.
I was busy that day. Nate, do you have I did not blow up Nord Stream. Thank you, though.
У вас лично, может быть, есть алиби, у вас лично.
You personally may have an alibi, but the CIA has no such alibi.
Do you have evidence that NATO or the CIA did it?
Знаете,
You know, I won't get into details, but people always say in such cases, look for someone who is interested. But in this case, we should not only look for someone who is interested, but also for someone who has capabilities. Because there may be many people interested, but not all of them are capable of sinking to the bottom of the Baltic Sea and carrying out this explosion. These two components should be connected. Who is interested and who is capable of doing it?
But I'm confused. I mean, that's the biggest act of industrial terrorism ever, and it's the largest emission of CO2 in history. Okay, so if you had evidence, and presumably given your security services, your intel services, you would, that NATO, the US, CIA, the West, did this, why wouldn't you present it and win a propaganda victory?
In the war of propaganda, it is very difficult to defeat the United States, because the United States controls all the world's media and many European media. The ultimate beneficiary of the biggest European media are American financial institutions. Don't you know that? So it is possible to get involved in this work, but it is cost prohibitive, so to speak. We can simply shine the spotlight on our sources of information, and we will not achieve results. It is clear to the whole world what happened, and even American analysts talk about it directly.
Couple of important things, and I'm going to push back on Putin on one of these things. He does make mention of look for the person who's interested in it and capable of it. And I do think that's important because that does limit the amount of parties that would be able to blow up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. There's not that many countries that are actually capable of doing what was done to that pipeline. The United States is certainly one of them. Russia would be one of them as well. But who would be interested in this? Was Russia interested in this? Probably not. The United States, probably so. But then Tucker presses him, and I love the fact that Tucker presses him because this is what makes this such a good interview. He doesn't just give in to what Putin's saying. He says, well, if you're saying this, if you have the evidence, why don't you show it? Now, Putin goes into this sort of like, well, you know, it's tough to win the propaganda war against the United States of America. So even if we showed stuff, it wouldn't help. Now, there is certainly some truth to this because if it was shown, it would just be called edited. It'd be called fake, disinformation, misinformation. So this is why the United States government and media is already setting up this whole misinformation, disinformation stuff. So they could just disregard all things that they don't like, whether they're true or not. So Putin is correct. It would be hard to win that war, and certainly it would just be drowned out by all of these different sources, including the government and the media. However, I also do believe that Russia is not as capable as they try to present themselves to be. So their intelligence, although it's good, and their technology, their capabilities are good, I don't think that he actually has the goods. He doesn't have the hard data to be able to say, this is the surveillance we got. We know everything. I think that with everything that they can compile, it would still not look like they know 100%, although we basically know what happened. So just pushing back a little bit on him, Russia is not on the top of its game for sure. And that's a part of the reason why they're not going to have this information. But he makes some compelling points here. And I think the information is important. Obviously, keep in mind who you're getting it from. This is from Vladimir Putin, but this is good for the people to be able to see this and discern it for themselves, to look at the body language and to look at what they're saying. You know, our media is coming out here and our government is coming out here and saying, do not listen to this. Do not, like we're stupid. Like we can't discern you know, when somebody has bias or if somebody's saying something to try to present themselves in a good light or a bad light. No, the people should be able to take a look at this and make the determination for themselves. So I think there was some good stuff here. What do you all think about this? Leave your comment below. I'll catch you on the next video.